morning and welcome to our training class today. My name is Mike Mason, Safeguard America. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about the business itself, how to build your business, and how to build riches in your business, okay? When considering the alarm business, okay, instead of getting into what we sell as far as product, we'll get into that later. I first want to talk to you about the most important part of what we do, and that's the marketing part. If you become a great marketer, everything else is easy. We can teach you everything else to do once you learn how to find prospects and how to get into homes. That's the key. So you have to decide your niche. Everyone has a different niche. Some people, they don't mind knocking on doors. So they'll just pick a raw neighborhood and just go door to door. Some people work around crime scenes, which is not bad either, but you still got to go door to door. Some people belong to large churches, so they infiltrate the people in their church. Some people do direct marketing. Some people do emails. Some people do web blasting. It doesn't matter. Whatever your niche is, you have to find it. And if you don't have a niche, you have to find a niche. So the easiest place to start if you don't have a niche is you probably would need to go door to door, which I happen to enjoy. I think it's easy, especially if you're working around crime scenes. All right. Regardless of what your niche is, because it's your niche, and I can help you with your niche. Okay. I can help you any way you want. If you want to learn how to canvas, I can take you door to door and show you how to canvas. If you want to go business to business, I can show you how to do that. However, for the marketing aside, the goal once you decide what your niche is to how to convert your niche. Whether you're talking to people at your church, whether you're talking to people door to door, whether people are calling you, you still have to take that, what I call raw lead or prospect, and convert it into a demo. And to me, a demo is you're invited to their house, or you get in their house and you get to the kitchen table. Because until you literally tell your story at the kitchen table, you have nothing to sell. And you can be the greatest closer in the world, but if you cannot get at that kitchen table and put your product on the table, you don't sell nothing to anybody. Simple as that. So you have to become a master at marketing, but then you have to become a bigger master at conversion and getting inside the right doors. Now, knocking on doors is easy. Not easy to get in. Putting ads out in the newspaper, it's easy. Not easy to get in. Why is it so difficult to get into people's homes? Well, Mark talks about it in a lot of his videos because there's a huge trust factor in this world today. People are promised things every day that don't deliver. We have a guy here that spent $1,500 on an ad in Craigslist. They were going to do 50 beautiful ads a day, every day for a month. Sent them $1,500, never heard from them again, they cashed a check. So that's the world we live in. So you have to understand that. So a lot of times the resistance that you're getting really has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with the universe and how the universe doesn't always do things right. Doesn't mean you don't do things right, because we will only do things right. We're only interested in doing the right thing, but they don't know. They don't know the difference between a good guy and a bad guy. Also understand that when you tell someone that you're there because of security, you're there because you're in the alarm business, something about what you do sets off an alarm. How do I know I can trust you? Now, if you knock on the door and say you're selling windows or landscaping or anything else, oh yeah, how much would it cost to cut my grass? How much are the windows? But as soon as you tell them that you're there to protect them, their guard goes up. I go, maybe it's you I have to protect myself against. So you have to understand that sometimes the rejection you're feeling is the trust. So you have to have really good rapport skills, and you have to have really good skills as far as making people trust you and feel comfortable with you. Now, I laid out a foundation today because prospecting, and when you prospect, you're going to get a lot of excuses. And everybody has a different reason why they don't need what you have. Now, I don't care what you're selling. If you're selling cars, they'd have a reason why they don't need your car. If you were selling windows, they'd have a different reason why they don't need windows. And then once they determine they need something, they may not know why they need yours. So you have to understand what you're up against, and you have to become a master at overcoming these objections. In my 27, 28 plus years in sales, what I've always done is figured out exactly what I'm up against. So when I knock on that door, I know what I'm going to hear. And guess what? I isolate it down to, what do I hear the most all the time? It came down to 5 different objections. Look, we're not interested. We want to think about it. We want to shop around. But in the home improvement industry, there was 5 solid ones. So guess what I did? I figured out a way to overcome every single one Not one time, not two times, 25 times. So no matter what you said to me, I could overcome it because I studied it and learned it. Well, the online business is no different. When we knock on that door or you prospect somebody at church or a friend or an ad, you're going to hear excuses and reasons why what you're doing and what you have is not needed for that client. Now, if you always just respond to, okay, sorry to bother you, you're going to go broke. Not just this business, but any business. So you have to learn the business you're in, and you have to learn what it is they're going to say to you. Now, if you're prepared, and you know ahead of time that they're going to tell you, I've got a gun, you shouldn't be shocked when they tell you they have a gun, because that's a form of protection that they feel comfortable with. So here's what I know. Back in this industry now for 2 weeks, and I've already pretty much isolated down to what I'm going to hear all the time. Number one excuse, whether I'm at the door or whether I meet someone on the street, is they are fine. They don't need protection because they have a gun. Number two, they have a dog. Number three, they are very safe. There's not been any problems in their neighborhood ever. All right? Number four, they cannot afford it at all. So the top four are guns, dogs, they're really safe, and money. The fifth one, they are always home. And sometimes they will throw two, well, they got a gun and they have a dog. Or they have a gun and they're always home. So my goal here is to, first of all, explore what they're trying to say to me. For the first thing I do, whether I'm in the house or at the door, wherever I am, is I question them. So all I do is repeat what they say to me. Oh, you have a gun. Now, the reason why I do this is really simple. I'm looking for more information. I want to explore their objection. So when I ask, oh, you have a gun? Yes, I do. I keep it in my house. I have 4 guns. So I'm learning more about what they mean when they say they have a gun. They have a dog. Oh, you have a dog? Oh, yeah, and he barks and he lets me know if someone's here. All right, listen to what they just said. They let me know when someone's here. Well, what if they're not here? See what you're doing here? They're always home. Well, that's great. Sixth thing that we hear is that, how much is the monitoring? They want to know how much. And I'll show you how to handle that in a little while. But you do not want to throw prices out up front without getting in that door. All right, so now that we understand what we're up against, and we understand what we're going to hear at church, we're going to hear at the door, we're going to hear when they call in an ads, we now have to figure out a concept on how do we overcome these objections. It's real simple. First of all, I call all of these beliefs. Beliefs are based on reference points. So what would have to happen in your life to feel safe? I would have to have a gun, right? What would have to happen in your life for you to feel safe? I would have to have a dog. Or I would have to live in a neighborhood where there were never any break-ins. What would have to happen in your life to feel safe? Okay, I would have to stay home all the time. Those are what we call beliefs. So every day, if you tell me that you're always home, or you tell me that your neighborhood is safe, every day you wake up and nothing's happened, it strengthens that belief. Every day that you think a gun is what makes you feel safe and nothing happens, it strengthens the belief that the gun is still my protector. My dog is still my protector. So what our job is to do is to challenge them. Challenge their beliefs. We call these references. Their beliefs are strengthened by references. Days after days after days of nothing happening strengthens their belief. Unless something different changes, They will maintain and strengthen their beliefs. So your job is to challenge their belief, okay? And I call wobble their belief system, challenge their belief system, and replace their belief system. And this is real simple and easy to do. Let's start with the gun. I have a gun. Repeat, oh, you have a gun. Because you want to hear more information, right? So now I'm going to ask you a few questions about that gun, because I'm opening them up and opening up the objection for them to come to their own sense and their own realization that a gun really is not the best form of protection. Let's explore gun. Do you keep it loaded? Yes. Do you have children around? All right, without saying another word, by asking that question, what's going through their head right now? That's not smart. It's not smart to have children and have a loaded gun. Without saying another word, I don't have to say another word, they get it. Now if they say the gun's not loaded, they're already weakened in their belief. All right, so what you're telling me is you have a gun, it's not loaded, and can I assume that you keep that gun in a safe place? Yeah, we do. Beautiful. Let me give you a scenario, worst case scenario, and let's hope this never happens to you. Middle of the night, you wake up to a noise. Someone's in your home. You're going to go get your gun. My stopwatch is on. How long will it take you to go get your gun in the dark, find the bullets, and load it, and prepare yourself? Can you do it in 2 seconds? Can you do it in 5 seconds? Can you do it in 10 seconds? How long will it take the intruder, once he gets in, to get to your bedroom? Can he do it in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
5 seconds? See folks, I'm all about guns. I love guns. I don't have one myself, but I love the right to bear arms. You need to protect yourself. But unless you sleep with your gun loaded, you are no match for the bad guy. Because guess what? Who do you think has more experience using it? You or him?
The intruder.
Who has more value for life? You or him? You. And if I wanted to bet on this duel and go to Vegas, 9 out of 10 times, who am I going to bet on? The bad guy. Nothing against you. You're just outmatched because he's already awake, he's got the gun, he's prepared, and it's loaded. Folks, guns are a great secondary line of protection. They only work if you're prepared to pull the trigger and it's loaded, it's in your hand when it comes through the door. What we like to do for people, for fractions of pennies on a dollar, is to give you a first line of defense so you never have to be in that position to pull or not to pull the trigger. Not only that, today more and more we hear all the time, we're killing our own loved ones because we weren't expecting them. And they walk through the door and we shoot them instead. That is awful, but it happens every day in this country. Keep your gun, keep it, don't get rid of it. But how much more secure would you feel if we could stop the bad guy from ever creating confrontation where you've got to make that split-second decision? All right, see what we just did here? We took their safety and we poked holes in it. Because is there anything I said, anything that's not true? Help me out, because I'll eliminate it. If you can poke one hole, Mark poked one hole in what I just said about guns, and I'll get rid of the story. Do you have to find a way to load it? Or do you have to keep it loaded? Which presents a whole different set of safety problems. Are you prepared to pull the trigger? Is the person coming through the door probably more prepared to pull the trigger? I'd say yes. So is it true that a gun is a false sense of protection when we're dealing with the real bad guys? And when's the last time a gun went out by itself when someone broke in when you're not home? Does that gun have any shot at all, no pun intended, of going off if you're not home? It does. The bad guy finds it and uses it for himself. Then it goes off. So unless your guns are locked away, when you're at home, that bad guy gets in there, and guess what? Boom. And by the way, folks, I'm going to leave you with one more thing. My company, Traning, recommends this. Protect your guns like you protect your home. So if you truly have guns, arm your home, make sure they never get in. You don't want to deal with people stealing your guns. If you broke down guns and wobble their belief system, what do you think your chances would be to at least get in and present your case? At least better? Okay. Next, I have a dog. Great. What's his name? Charlie. Oh, awesome. What kind of dog is it? Does he bite? Oh, yes, he does. So now think about how strong their belief is. They have a dog, he barks a lot, and he bites. So if you've never had a problem ever, and you get a dog that you know will bite you, and he barks loud, why wouldn't you believe that you're okay? Now, folks, understand something. Dogs are great pets. They are also a great line of defense to let you know that somebody might be coming into your home, or someone that they don't know or trust may be creating danger in your home. If you're home. So the problem with dogs as your only line of defense is, guess what? They only work 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, they can bark all they want. The neighbors hear them bark all the time. How does the neighbor know the difference between a bark and a bark? It's the same bark. But more important than that, the bad guy has figured out his enemy. They're not going to not come in your house because you have a dog. Because guess what? More and more and more people today are going ahead and getting protected the right way with a security system like ours. Which means the bad guy has less and less homes to break into. Because he's not going to go in a home where the alarm's going to go off. He's not stupid. So guess what? He now has to say, well, if I only go into houses that don't have a dog, it narrows his target. So they figured out we've got to start attacking homes with dogs because we can't go into homes with alarms. So guess what they know? They have to be prepared to disarm your dog. Guess what they do today? I've heard stories where they literally take a pound of hamburger, put a sponge in it, feed it to your dog, he eats the hamburger, chokes on the sponge. That would be awful. I love my dog. I don't even know what I would do if that happened to my dog. The other thing they do is they spray oven cleaner on the threshold. Dog breathes it in, it cripples them. They also will shoot your dog because they'll shoot you. And the other thing about your dog, there's a fire, he can't call out for help. He's trapped in your home. Keep your dog for a great second line of defense. Keep your dog for a great pet. But protect your dog and yourself. For pennies on a dollar, I can show you how to do this. Can I step in? All right, what do we do about the dog? Did we challenge them? Did we wobble their belief system about the level of protection the dog gives them? Because once they no longer believe it as strong as they believed it, where does that leave them? Help me. Help me. Until you disarm their belief, there's no helping. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good you think you can sell or close. If you do not create a challenge for their belief, you're not selling anybody anything. You guys starting to catch on to this?
Yes.
Pretty simple. And it works for anything and everything. I don't care what you're selling. But it only works if you work from the truth. You cannot lie about their beliefs to try to manipulate them so that you can make a sale. It doesn't work that way. So if you notice, when I'm challenging their beliefs, I'm only challenging the truth of their belief. I'm not making things up. Is there anything I said so far that you don't agree with? Because it's true. And guess what they know? That is true. Here's another beautiful one. We are safe here. We lived here for years and we've never had a problem. Interesting. Oh, your neighborhood is safe. That's how they start off. We're safe here. Our neighborhood is safe. Oh, your neighborhood's safe. They elaborate and say, we've lived here for years, we've never had a problem. Wow, that's awesome. Are there any homes for sale? I would love to live in a neighborhood that's so safe. Can I ask you guys a question? Is it so safe that you don't even lock your doors? What do you think they're going to say? No, we lock our doors. Can I ask you why? Because remember what they told me, they're so safe. Well, if you're so safe, then why do you lock your doors? Because understand something, I come from a place in the 60s where we didn't lock our doors. Because we really were safe. Because people really didn't come into your homes a lot, or ever. You never heard about it. So not only did we not lock our doors, we left our keys in the car. We left our bikes outside. And if a bike was missing, it was a kid across the street, you punched him in the nose, and you took your bike back. Would you at least agree today we live in a totally different world than we did 40 years ago? Do you think they know that? So, although they never had a problem, they locked their doors. The fact that they locked the doors, what have they already told themselves? That we're not all that safe anymore. Even though it's not happened here, it could happen. That's where you start to wobble. As soon as they agree they have locks, you've already opened up their belief system and started to challenge them. Can I ask you another question? I know nothing ever has happened here, and I hope nothing ever does. But if someone did decide to break into any of these homes, do you think they could get through a broken or a locked door? What if there was a way, for pennies on a dollar, where you could have a much stronger and safer line of defense that would protect you and your family and give you the peace of mind you deserve? Wouldn't that be a better line of defense? But does it make sense to be proactive and side a little bit with caution and be safe and give you the peace of mind that you know and deserve? Agreed? This is the easiest of them all. Safe. Nobody's safe. Why is your car doors locked? Really? You can also say, okay, well that's awesome that your neighborhood is safe. Do you believe that other neighborhoods are not as safe? Do you think at some point in time those neighborhoods were safe like yours? Why are they no longer safe? Because once the infiltration clicks in, once things start to happen, our safety stops. Agreed? I hope it never happens to your neighborhood. But you'd be one of the only ones I've ever heard of that's never had any issues ever and never will. Or you wouldn't lock your doors. Agreed? All right. Safe/neighborhood watch. Who doesn't have neighborhood watch, right? Is there a neighborhood that you know of that if your neighbor saw somebody breaking in or doing harm to your property, that they wouldn't respond? They wouldn't call the police, or at least ask the person what they think they're doing. So we all have neighborhood watch. Then why do we still have so many break-ins? Because you cannot expect your neighbors to sit outside with their binoculars on and watch your home 24/7 while you're off making money and working and having fun. It doesn't work that way. You can't watch theirs either. The only way neighborhood watch works is if they actually are lucky enough to be looking out the window when someone's bringing harm your way. Let me ask you another question. God forbid you ever had a break-in or an intruder came in your home. Would you trust your neighborhood watch as much as you do today? What if there was a way to get you and your family protected for a fraction of what it costs for a cup of coffee at McDonald's every day? Peace of mind alone would be worth it. Please allow me to show you a better way. Can I step in? Now keep in mind, I keep on saying, can I step in? We started this segment today by saying that you guys have to become marketing geniuses, right? You've got to figure out your own segue of how you're going to get indoors. I don't care if you knock on doors, I don't care if you put mailers out, I don't care if you take phone calls. They're still going to give you objections of why there's no need for you to come over to their home. So you're not always saying, can I step in? Could we set something up where I could come over and show you what I have? But you have to learn how to overcome this first, because if not, you're going to be saying, okay, sorry to bother you, okay, sorry to bother you, and you're going to give in and give up all the time. You're never going to protect them, you're never going to sell anything. Let me ask you another question. Do you know for sure that that person you're prospecting right now today will never need your protection? Do you know that? How would you feel personally if you found out that they gave you one of these objections and you agreed and you left and you found out something bad happened to them or their home or the family? Would you feel good about that? Because if you answer yes to that, you shouldn't be in this business. Because you're not really thinking about what you really do. You protect people. It's your job to protect people. Money will follow you when you protect them first because they need protection. Agree? So you have to think like that. They don't know better because, again, their belief system has prevailed so far. But it's only a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when this fails them. And it will fail them if the bad guy picks their home. If fire picks their home, they're done. It doesn't work. So you're talking to people on top of people that have a failed security system, when security is probably one of the most important things in their life. Their family is the most important thing in their life. Their home is the most important thing in their life. Is it not? So unless you're willing to dig deep and talk about uncomfortable things, you're going to leave a lot of people unprotected and in danger, in harm's way. And the bad guy is getting worse. He's not getting better. And he's getting smarter. Why do you think now most security systems come with the cellular backup? Because the bad guy figured out cut the line. They can't do that very many times anymore because most people go with the cellular backup system. All right. We are always home. So what does that belief tell you, that they're always home? So they mean, as long as we never leave our house, no one will ever bother us. Is that true, or is that false?
False.
Why is it false?
Because intruders will still come in, that's called home invasion.
No way.
Yes.
They don't do that.
Yes, they do.
I don't believe it. Prove me wrong. Walk my legs.
Channel 2 News.
What do you mean they come into my house when I'm home? You see my point? You know you're laughing because you know it's stupid. There's no way they're safe because they never leave the house. No, they never leave the house because they're afraid someone's going to come in. Hey, we're safe. We never leave our home. Oh, okay, in home invasions, we're making it up. It doesn't happen. Fact is, they're more likely to have a home invasion than their neighbors because their neighbors are never home. So if the bad guy decides this is the neighborhood I want to be in, you think they care if you're home? Because there's a really good chance before they did the home invasion, they saw you run the yard. And they said, ooh, I can take that. That ain't nothing right there. I can handle that. They size you up and down, and you wave to them probably 3 times already and don't even know it. Because do you know the difference between a good guy and a bad guy? What do you mean you don't? How could you not? Oh, you can't tell. So the guy that's waving to you could be the guy that's sizing you up. See what we're doing here? We're revealing the truth. And we're also making them come to their own realization that what they really thought they had, they don't. Or do they? Because if I'm wrong, just let me know. Am I wrong or am I right?
Right.
Would you be shocked if the next person that told you they're always home had a break-in? Would you be shocked if you found out something happened to them when there's a break-in? You wouldn't be saying, oh, no way. You wouldn't be that surprised, because it happens all the time now. And guess what the media does? Lets you know. How many times did it have to happen for it to become such a strong belief for us that we know it does happen, right? Talk about belief systems. Ours is strengthened every single day. Every time we turn on the TV, it's strengthened by somebody else did something else to somebody else. Guess what? You can help prevent that by strengthening your belief system that what we have is real. Because now, when you add all these up, do you really think that that is their best form of protection?
No.
If they stayed unprotected, and they were broken in 10 times in a row, every one of them, what chance do you think it would be, or what would the odds be, where the burglar won versus the homeowner? Would you say the burglar wins 9 out of 10 times? Or would the burglar win 1 out of 10 times?
Burglar 9 out of 10 times.
So you're saying that they only have a 10% chance to be safe if they're chosen. Now let me ask you this. What if they had a wireless security system in their home that was armed, and they were broken into 10 times? What would the odds then be for you, the homeowner? $95 to 95%? 95 to 99%. Would you agree? What do you think they would agree to? If you expose what they thought were their protection system, and you expose it, and then you expose what we do, where would you put your money? Now, let me ask you another question. If you knew for certain, even if this is your line of defense, if you knew for certain that today the bad guy's coming to your house, how safe will you feel? See, because you only feel safe now because it has not happened. And everyone's real brave. Okay? Until it happens. Different than when we were kids, right? You get into a little fight in the schoolyard and you wait till after school and you'd want to meet them outside. Let me ask you a question. Johnny, 9 years old. Billy, 9 years old. Does Billy think he's going to win? Does Johnny think he's going to win? What happens? One of them doesn't win. That's what you're up against. Because it hasn't happened yet. Now, do you think Johnny's going to go fight Billy again after he got pounded? No. Because he's got a new belief system that, hey, I can't handle him anymore. Well, when the burglar breaks in or something happens, whether it be fire, medical, or intrusion, they will then believe something different. Your goal is to not let that ever happen. Agreed?
Agreed.
Any questions so far? Now, another objection that we're going to hear a lot. We can't afford anything right now. We can't afford anything right now. We can't afford anything right now. I'm going to fix income. I'm going to fix budget. We can't afford anything right now. Really? Surprised you say that. Do you know how much it is? No. Huh. So how can you say that? So you got to challenge them. The real reason why they're saying we can't afford anything right now is because why? Because of one of these things. They feel, what they're really telling you is, we're okay because of one of these things, but because they say they can't afford it, you never find out really what's behind it. They're not really saying they can't afford it, they're really saying, there's not a big enough risk right now for me to spend any money for better protection, because I am tight, and they could be somewhat tight, but they could find $1 a day if they needed to, and if they were broken into, they'd go find $1 a day. Here's the difference. Because they throw that at you, and then they tell you we're on a fixed income, we can't afford anything, we're tight right now, you buy it and you believe it. But the reason why they're so tight is because they believe that their other line of defense is fine, therefore I'm not going to spend any money, I don't have to spend. So how do you expose that? Tell me. I can't afford anything right now. Say, we can't afford anything right now. Tell me. Say.
You want me to say I can't afford it?
Say, I can't afford anything right now.
I can't afford it right now.
Huh. Suppose you say that. Do you know how much it costs?
No.
And that's fine, maybe you can't. But in the event that you couldn't afford anything, What other line of protection do you typically count on to keep the bad guy away? Excuse me?
Gun.
A gun, a dog, I'm safe, right?
Right.
See? But what happens, most people here, they can't afford, they leave. Oh, they don't have any money, there's no sale here. But meanwhile, guess what they have in their living room?
Yeah.
A 300-inch square TV that costs them $9,000, right? On a beautiful leather sofa, right? Chewing on potato chips. They cost them $3.99. And they'll polish that bag off in 3 hours. With snacks hanging all over the house. When they go grocery shopping, right? When they leave, how much did they need and how much did they get? Do you think the average homeowner, even on a tight little budget, spends $30 to $40 more than they need on groceries a month? When they go to work, and they go get gas, and they go get a cup of coffee that costs 3 cents to make, and they spend $1.49, and they drink a half a cup and mold bills in it before they ever throw it out. And they do that every single day on the way to work. But they can't afford it. They're selling you because there's something else that they believe is why they don't need to spend any more money on it, anything else, because they're safe. Why are they safe? Because it never happened to them. My neighbors watch my house. I got a dog, I got a gun, I got something going on. When you expose the truth and you don't believe what they're telling you, then you get in the door and you have the best chance to protect them. Now, if it's true that they really are so tight that they could swing another $36.99 a month, maybe they shouldn't even be living there. Because understand something else too. By protecting themselves, they're going to save 5 to 20% on their insurance. Homeowners insurance. So that could be anywhere from $10 to $20 a month. So you're talking pennies on a dollar to get protected. You got to believe that everybody can afford this, and you got to believe you can find the money for them, because it's the right thing to do, right? All right. Any questions so far? Can you see how important this is if you're going to get into the marketing world and start to prospect, how much easier your world will be if you are prepared to overcome all this stuff? Because you're going to hear it. You can hear it every single day. And if everything is, oh, sorry to bother you, sorry to bother you, so that means that if there's 100 people out there, and you talk to 100 people, how many of those 100 people are going to give you one of these 5? 80%. 20% are going to say, well, okay, how much is it? Or I can't afford it. So it's going to already be a money issue, but they're still not going to be ready yet because of something here. So until you take away their security, no one wants to listen to a word you have to say.